Okay, welcome to possibly what is the last lecture we will be doing. Possibly, I'm saying possibly because you never know. Things might get extended. So, right. So we will start with a few random topics which are remaining, which are small, which are useful. Not so much for exams, but you should know about them, and they are very simple to understand. Basically, the idea being that these topics are very simple to understand. That is why we are covering at the end, right? So let us cover the first thing. What was the situation of India? So let us go back to history now a bit. History of economic independence, history of independence. What was the situation on the eve of independence? So I told you every economy, so GDP that we know, all goods and services, is nothing but a contribution of your primary sector plus secondary sector plus tertiary sector. There are others also. If you have read the NCERT very well, you would come to know there are quinary and quaternary sectors also. वो भी आते हैं, but primarily these three are there: primary, secondary, and tertiary. I hope you know the difference between primary, secondary, and tertiary. So India, what was the contribution of these sectors on the eve of independence? Just live when we got independence on 1947. What was the condition of India? That we are going to see. Okay, so this is a sort of history class, but economic history class. So what do you think economic development would be low or high during British rule? Economic development was very low during British rule. See, what they did was, Britishers, see, this is India. What they did was they came, and before they came, we were exporting a lot of goods. What we were doing, we were exporting a lot of goods. We were very prosperous before India. It is not that we did not have caste system or we did not have problems in India. We had problems in India before British came, but we were exporting a lot of goods. When British came to India, what they saw was that here raw material is available in plenty. Your weather is very good. Your soil is very good. Rivers are here. Land is fertile. Okay? Plus, here there are many people. At the same time, in England, they had new machines. Industrial revolution होके time हो गया था. You know, almost 50 years in before independence. So 1800s में industrial revolution, 1700s, 1800s में start. So when they came here, they saw कि there are many people here. Raw material भी है. तो क्या करेंगे अभी? They bought raw material. Raw material, they took it to their own country and they processed there and they sent finished goods here. ठीक है? What happened? Which is okay, which is fine. We are supplying raw material, they are giving us finished goods. So processing was happening here. Value addition was happening here. Yes or no? This was the first stage. Now they were paying dollars, yeah, pounds, जो भी है. They were paying foreign currency here, so it is fine. Next, they started colonizing India. Colonizing means what? They started forming the government in India, which means what? They are taking money in the form of taxes, in the form of crops. Remember zamindari, Ryotwari system. Now they are taking money in the form of taxes, in the form of crops. They are doing all these things. So earlier dollar used to flow, or let's say foreign exchange used to flow from England to here. Now they are using Indian money only to finance the exports and to give the finished goods. Samjha? They are taking money from Indians as tax, using that money to buy raw material, taking that raw material to England. So net expense कुछ भी नहीं हुआ है, and getting the finished goods here and selling it here and again taking money by sale of finished goods. समझा? So British were economically exploiting India. What they were doing? Economically exploiting, literally exploiting India. Okay, that is one. Right? So what do you think happened to our per capita income? Was it low or high? Very low. Very low. What is the amount of people engaged in agriculture today? We saw in economic survey 54%. ठीक है? तभी कितना था पता है? On the 1947 में people engaged in agriculture was 85%. 85% people were engaged in agriculture, which because we were primarily producing those things. ठीक है? Did British force us to grow cash crops? Yes or no? Yes. British forced us to use cash crops, or to grow cash crops. What did that happen? That resulted in only buying and selling of cash crops, no food security, nothing. So British rule resulted in what? See this, English. Commercialization of agriculture. समझा कि नहीं? Commercial हो गया है. Food security, social benefits, social angle, forget it. Commercialization हो गया agriculture का. Do you agree with this? Who were oppressed? Farmers were oppressed. Tenants were oppressed. Landless laborers were oppressed. Yes or no? What about industrial sector? What happened to industries? We were expert in handicrafts. Before British came, we were expert in handicrafts. British ruined that. Why? Because instead of finished handicraft goods, we were forced to use finished goods from England, which were not of good quality. Indian handicrafts were very good quality. Did that not result in ruin of handicraft industry in India? Yes or no? It did. So industry पे वो फर्क पड़ा, secondary sector पे वो फर्क पड़ा. Tertiary sector was not even developed at that time. Services था ही नहीं ना. Anywhere in the world services was not there. We are talking about independence here. ठीक है? What about foreign trade? What about foreign trade? There were huge exports of raw materials. We were exporting a lot of raw materials. We were still the leaders in exports, but of what? Of raw materials. And we did not have those raw materials in India available because सब कुछ तो export हो रहा है. Plus processors or handicrafts or those who use those raw materials were not getting industrial base or not getting jobs. Why? Because we were getting finished goods from British. This is all covered in history also, so I'm not going much into depth. But do you realize how bad our condition was? What about literacy? कितना होगा? ज़्यादा होगा? कम होगा? कम होगा. Many people were there in agriculture. Many people were illiterate, right? What about infrastructure? Did anything positive happen due to British in infrastructure? What? They constructed railways. British has constructed railways. They constructed good ports also, ships and all. Okay? So infrastructure boosted. See, their intention was not good. Intention was, why did they construct railways? Do you know? Goods can be sourced from interior areas and then taken to ports. Airport itna tha nahi tabhi, to ports and then ship mein load karke they used to go. That is why they constructed railways. They also constructed railways so that labor can come from outside, like far away places, and work here. We will oppress them, we will exploit them, and then they can go home. उसके वजह से they made railways, but we had benefit कि हम use कर रहे now. So that is a good thing. They constructed infrastructure. Communication was greatly improved by British. Communication greatly improved, telephone lines and all of those things were laid. Why? Because they wanted to exploit. But at the same time, that resulted in infrastructure development. Otherwise, we would still be using primitive technologies. So ऐसा नहीं है कि फायदा नहीं हुआ. ऐसे think from an economics angle. Social angle, very bad. I agree. Economics angle, some are good things, many are bad things. The good things are infrastructure and communication. ठीक है? Postal services were improved because they had to send messages to each other कि you know यहाँ पे क्रांति हो रही है, this should be stopped, he should be killed, he should not be killed, ऐसा सब. Right? So now next we come to next after independence, we got independence, we come to a very important phase of economic planning. We come to 1950 to 1990. We come to this era, 1950 to 1990. Very, very, very important. At the moment you got independence, we are facing lot of problems now. Independence आज ही मिला है. We are facing lot of problems, economic, social, political, environmental, so many problems. International relations are not good. So many problems are happening. बाकी problem side में economic problems की बात करते हैं. We'll speak about economic problems. In economics, first thing we did was set up planning commission in 1950. Very, very, very important. What did we do? Set up planning commission in 1950. Sir, what is planning commission? So the question before Jawaharlal Nehru, the Prime Minister of India in independence, now we are in 1950, was See, remember we discussed socialist models of economy, we discussed capitalist models of economy. Remember, capitalist means let market forces do their jobs, you don't interfere. Socialist means government should control everything, government should interfere, right? What do you think we used? We wanted best of both things. We went for mixed approach. Okay? So mixed maybe you need some concrete planning. So erstwhile there was USSR. Okay? Russia ke pehle there was USSR. We as Indians, or you know, the Indian politicians were very fascinated by USSR system of planning, how they made plans. So USSR made something called as 5-year plans. Okay? Ki so you see, economy is something ki aaj you do something, tomorrow you will not see the effect. You will see the effect on a later time. It takes time. Investment badhani hai, so if you do now, it will take time. Na? People will be encouraged, crowding in will happen, etc. So we said ki 5 years ke plan banate hain, just like USSR. They used to make 4-year plans, 6-year plans. We said ki we'll make 5-year plans, which means for the next 5 years, what will be the course economy will take? Even your graduation and even your 10, 12 plus graduation is a 5-year plan, yes or no? You know what is going to happen in these 5 years. Then after end of 5 years, you check, आगे कुछ करना है या आगे नहीं करना है. Similarly, we started making these 5-year plans. Is this agreed? We started making 5-year plans. Right? We'll skip planning for now in detail. We'll just see the history. We are seeing the history now. We started making 5-year plans. Now, what do you think is the situation of agriculture? Is it good or bad? Very bad. But raw material exports are there, everything is there. Okay? So these 5-year plans, we set certain goals. We want to grow our economy, we want to modernize our economy, we want to do so many things. वो सब हमने किया. Now, what changes did we do in this era? What changes did we do in agriculture? We'll see that. What changes did we do in agriculture? Have we done something? Have we covered anything? Land reforms, land sealing. Land reforms is basically abolition of zamindari and intermediaries. Land sealing, I hope you know what is land sealing. Very, very, very important. Green revolution. And we started our subsidy regime. Subsidies for farmers and all. Now let us speak about green revolution. We have spoken about land reforms and land sealing. Green revolution mein we wanted to be self-sufficient in food grain production. We used to import food grains. Okay? PL64 was the system. USA का system था. It used to give us food grains. Wheat and rice we used to import. We said कि ये नहीं चलेगा. This will not work. We need our own food security. Our population is big. We understand that we need so much of food. So we need to be able to produce. Otherwise, what will happen? We will be dependent on other nations. Plus, foreign exchange कहाँ से आएगा? We are closed economy. Always remember, we are closed economy. This is a closed phase. Okay, we are closed economy. So we said कि नहीं, we need to be self-reliant. There is no alternative. We have to be self-reliant. We bought some seeds from Mexico, and तभी scientific genetic engineering was high. So we brought something called as high-yielding variety seeds. I have told you this. High-yielding variety seeds. Okay, now this green revolution was done in 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. So in phase 1 was primarily targeted towards wheat. It primarily benefited only the established or the bigger states like Punjab and Andhra Pradesh, wheat producing states like Punjab, Andhra Pradesh. Phase 2 में rice भी cover हो गया, wheat and rice both. Phase 2 में rice भी cover हो गया, and many states were benefited from phase 2. Phase 2 happened, so phase 1 happened between 1960 to 1970, and this happened between 1970 to 1980. Okay, this was green revolution. High yielding variety seeds. Now, do you think high yielding variety seeds require less water or more water? They require more water. They require very good application of fertilizers. They require proper use of nutrients. ठीक है, वो प्रॉपर होना चाहिए था, एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी इंट्रोड्यूस सब्सिडी रेजिम. समझा? इट इज ऑल इंटररिलेटेड, एवरीथिंग इज इंटररिलेटेड. नाउ देयर वर टू फियर्स विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन. वन फियर वाज दैट एक्सेसिव फर्टिलाइजर यूज हो गया तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा, एंड दैट फियर केम ट्रू. Excessive fertilizer use, excessive water use, excessive soil abuse related to reduction in soil fertility as time passed. Yes, we got bumper crops, no doubt. We got huge gains, बहुत कुछ मिला, but at the cost of soil fertility. वो तो करना पड़ा हमें. ठीक है. Secondly, the fear was that they will not have enough money to use fertilizers and water and all. What did we do? Subsidy regime. We started our subsidy regime. Now there is a debate over subsidies, whether how many subsidies to give, whether to give or not. Some people said don't give subsidies, it will unnecessarily burden the economy. Yes or no? Some people said give subsidies, right? So the final conclusion was we will continue with subsidies because that is what is required. Now I want to speak about farm loan waiver here. Subsidies hai na? It is not related to this topic, but do you know what is farm loan waiver? Loan is given by banks to farmers. Twin balance sheet पता है क्या होता है? It is similar. Twin balance sheet में what happens? The company's balance sheet due to any reason does not be good or health goes down, which affects banks. Similarly, do you think if monsoon doesn't happen, will farmer be able to repay the loan to the bank? No. If procurement doesn't happen, will farmer be able to repay the loan to the bank? If storage mein his produce goes waste, will farmer be able to repay his loan? No. So, but farmers are our main main food givers, right? Plus farmers also represent a big voting lobby. So what government says is that your loan is waived. मतलब आपका loan माफ है. Because we don't want them to go through so much trouble. See, if they are in loan trap, next year they will not be able to sow. If next year they are not able to sow, how will we eat food? Are you agreeing with this? Are you getting this? Now, how does farm loan waiver work? You know, many people who have given mains also, unfortunately, they don't know how farm loan waivers work. Who is losing in farm loan waiver? And who is gaining in farm loan waiver? Tell me that. So, there are three players here. One is bank. Bank has given loan to whom? Farmer. Who is giving farm loan waiver? Government. State government, central government, both. They are declaring farm loan waivers. Government today says that 50 farmers ka loan is waived. Matlab maaf. Who is gaining, who is losing? Farmer is gaining, very clear. Farmer gains. Acha, if loan is not able to be paid by farmer, who loses? Farmer and bank both lose because no money and then no repayment. Right? Who is the loser here in farm loan waiver? No. Farm loan waiver means bank say, why will I waive his loan? Government pays loan to bank and he says कि इससे मत लेना. Who is the loser here? We. Because यहाँ पे पैसा कहाँ से आता है? हमसे ही आता है. We are losers. Taxpayers are losers. Bank is happy, yes or no? Why? Because it is getting its money back. Always remember this. So if farm loan waiver might not have happened, bank wouldn't have got money. But farm loan waiver happened, bank got its money. उसको नहीं फर्क पड़ता है farmer is giving or government is giving. Right? Now tell me, will this not lead to farmers becoming complacent and bindas? कि tomorrow government is going to waive my loan. Will this not result in farmer abusing the loan he is taken from bank? शादी में उड़ा दिया. Tomorrow he is going, government is going to. Do you agree with this? This makes farmer complacent. This makes farmer lose, with a very careless attitude he goes to the bank. Bank is also willing, bank knows tomorrow loan waiver is going to happen. If frequent loan waivers are given by the government, bank knows that I will give him loan, government will repay me back. If I will not give him loan, I will look bad because someone else will give loan, some other bank will give loan. The key word here is that you have to write is farm loan waivers. Look at the wording. हाँ, if it is extremely necessary, drought हुआ है, you know, some extreme situations, then you have to give. But nowadays, farm loan waivers are given to gain votes. Is it good or bad? It's not good. They become bindas. Farm loan waivers destroy. What do they destroy? Credit culture in agricultural finance, agricultural loans. Credit culture. Credit culture means how well you are repaying or how on time you are repaying. That is known as credit culture. Samjha? Credit means what? Loans. Culture means ki how well you are repaying and all. So farm loan waivers destroy credit culture. And this they might not have foreseen when discussing the subsidy regime or when discussing about loans. Samjha? What about industry? What was the situation of industry? What do you think? Industry mein what did we do in 1950s to 1990s? Can you guess? We came up with very important industry है ना? We came up with Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. Do we have industrial policy in our syllabus somewhere? Are the words mentioned in the syllabus somewhere? Point number 8, changes in industrial policy, effect of liberalization on industries, changes in industrial policy and its effects on industrial growth. This also covers your point 8. Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. What did this policy say? This policy said that it is all given in NCERT, no need to write. This policy said that India's domestic industry should be protected. How do you protect your domestic industry? By encouraging imports or discouraging imports? Discouraging imports, because then people will be forced to buy Indian goods. This policy gave protection for domestic industries. This policy or industrial policy resolution gave domestic industries को boost, ठीक है, which is not bad, but it proved to be bad by the end of 1989. Yes or no? We had to open up our industry. What are the disadvantages of protecting domestic industries? Inefficiency, corruption, complacency. बराबर? Plus, most of them were. Did we not nationalize banks in this time? Did we not nationalize all other institutions also? So most of them were under public sector. So the government attitude, inefficiency, that came into being. Private sector was not allowed to operate. We entered a system of very important words. License Raj. It is called as License Raj. License Raj means for every industry that you have to operate as a private sector, you have to apply for a license. Today we don't have. Today you can start your own profession if you have the qualification. You have to apply some basic registration obviously. But your permission was required from the government directly to start a business. Every time. License Raj. बहुत strict control. Very strict control. Second, some products, let's say this pen, can only be manufactured by small scale industries and not large scale companies. This was to protect the small scale companies from large scale companies. Earlier we protected all the companies from MNCs, from outside companies. Now within India also we are trying to protect small scale companies from large scale companies. So then we came up with a small scale industry protection. Are you getting this? Small scale industry protection we came up with. Now good things, bad things both happened obviously. Small scale industries got boost and all of those things happened. Right? We went for import substitution, yes or no? Import substitution means you instead of imports, make in India. आज हम क्या कर रहे हैं? What are we doing? We are trying import substitution only. Same thing, we tried it that time also. Right? What do you think is the policy, or what do you think is the effect of them? What is the effect? Industries got restricted. Industries, private sector was not able to play. Private sector was not able to open up. समझा? We were a closed economy, no more imports. Imports were actually high, exports तो थे ही नहीं, because some goods we were not able to make. I had read in some economist's biography that that sewing machines थे ना, sewing machines. So some core component of sewing machines were not made in India because they were reserved for small scale. Now small scale could not make it because they involved huge investment. So many problems. So they had to be imported. Just imagine. They had to be imported. Do you know Fiat was the first imported car, or earlier imported cars in India. Before that, I remember we had Bajaj scooter. Okay, Bajaj scooter. So when there were talks of allowing Fiat to open up shop here, or when there were talks of allowing Fiat cars to be imported to India, do you know what the discussion was in the government ministry? I read in a book that we have Bajaj, tell them to make cars. Have you ever seen Bajaj make a car? Bajaj is a motorcycle company. See, abhi they are making small tempos and all. Forget that. Cars, proper cars. Even now they are not making proper cars. Imagine in 1970s and 80s, the attitude was, why are we importing? Tell Bajaj to make car. Arey, but he doesn't know how to make car. Kal to bologe plane banao. So this was the attitude between ki, arey, we will make. But you don't have expertise. Na? First we need to learn to make, and then we have to make. So all these, stifled industry. And then ultimately, what happened? We defaulted on our interest payments to IMF. Then what happened? Balance of payment crisis happened. Then what happened? 1991 LPG reform. So this was the precursor to it. Agriculture was going down. Why? There were two main factors. One, drought. Second, famines. And because of drought, famines happened. And there were three wars. India-China war, India-Pakistan war, Bangladesh war. Wars happened. During this period only everything happened. So that is why our agriculture sector was stifled, industry was stifled because of all these things. License Raj, permit Raj, it is also called as permit Raj. है ना, permit चाहिए. ठीक है? 59%, how much is the contribution of agriculture today to GVA? 17%, 17%. How much was the contribution of agriculture to GVA in 1950? 60%. So it was employing 85% people and contributing 60%. Now we employ 54% people but contribute 17%. So now it is a big problem. Agreed? How much was the industry contribution today? How much it is? 8% around. It was 13% in 1950. 1990 it was 25%. Okay. Now also it is not 8%. The growth rate is 8% now. Agriculture is growing at 3%. Sorry, I am mistaken. Now also it is around 25%. So ये 25% हो गया, and वो कितना है? 17%. कितना है? 42%. So rest 58% is covered by service sector. So we have a big service sector now. ठीक है? Now comes the fun part. After this, what happened after this? What happened after this? After 1990, what happened? LPG LPG. Now we come to LPG. 30 years have completed for LPG reforms in 2021 because 1991, 2001, 2011 and 2021. 30 years हो गए for LPG reforms. So this becomes a very important topic for your study. Questions can be asked on LPG reforms. Very, very, very important. ठीक है? LPG reforms. What is L? What do you mean by liberalization? What is the meaning of English word liberalization? To liberalize, to set free. बराबर? To liberalize means to set free. Liberalize करो. To reduce the restrictions. Can I say reduce the restrictions on it? Very good. Now liberalization में very, very, very important. What do you think needs to be liberalized? We did in the last screen. What did we do? Liberalize license Raj, small industries, small industries को भी liberalize करना है. You have to liberalize, yes or no? Yes. You have to liberalize small industries also. You have to liberalize license Raj also. Is it clear? So we went for liberalization. The number of sectors for which license was required was drastically brought down. The number of sectors which were reserved for small industries was drastically brought down. Imports were allowed. Other foreign investment was allowed. You come, you set up shop here. Westernization. See, along with money, Western culture also flows here. Nowadays, people are watching Korean dramas. They listen to K-pop music. So it is all effect of liberalization. See GS1, effect of liberalization on Indian society. See GS3, effect of liberalization on Indian industry. Industry part यहाँ है, and same it is point number 8. उधर भी point 8 है, इधर भी point 8 है. ठीक है? We had balance of payment crisis. I hope you know this is new economic policy 1991. LPG reforms are called as new economic policy 1991. New economic policy 1991. 30 years have completed to this LPG reforms. What did we do in liberalization? We deregulated industrial sector. Yes or no? उसी का part है ये. We deregulated industrial sector. बराबर? What else did we do? We made financial sector reforms. What financial sector reforms, you ask? Do you know Harshad Mehta scam? When did it happen? 91, 92 में ही हुआ था Harshad Mehta scam. SEBI was set up. SEBI was not set up. SEBI was set up in 1988, but it got statutory backing in 1992. After the Harshad Mehta scam, SEBI was given statutory backing. So SEBI earlier was published only or established only by a government order, which means it had some powers, it did not have many powers, but it was given statutory powers. SEBI Act came in 1992. So SEBI Act is 1992. SEBI was existing before 92 also. Because of Harshad Mehta scam, SEBI Act was passed 1992. ठीक है? Do you know Narsimham Committee? 92, 98, 1 and 2 Narsimham Committee. Banking reforms. I'll write banking reforms here. If I'm writing banking reforms here, I should write bank nationalization. है ना? Bank nationalization, LIC was established, UTI was established, so many things were established, okay? Wars हुए थे, wars, famine, drought, some earthquakes also. ठीक है? What else did we do? What else did we do? trade policy reforms. What did we reduce? Import duties. We reduce import duties. Trade policy reforms. This is all liberalization. Huh? We are all only doing liberalization now. What did we do here in trade policy reforms? We reduced tariffs, yes or no? I hope you know tariffs. We reduced quota, yes or no? But why are we doing this? Did something happen in 1995? What? WTO? WTO came into picture, 1995 WTO. Right? What happened in 1993? 73rd, 74th Amendment Acts were passed. Okay? What happened in foreign exchange reforms? Did we do some foreign exchange reforms? ये WTO यहाँ नहीं आएगा. I will erase this. I'll tell you why, because it is globalization. Simple. Did we make some changes in foreign exchange? Conversion of currency, capital account convertibility. I hope you remember balance of payment chapter. 1994 current account convertibility हो गया. अच्छा, we did one more thing which is necessary to be mentioned in 1998 we also did Pokhran test, nuclear attack. So उसमें nuclear bomb test, so we had some sanctions put on us. So you'll read that in the book, you'll come to know. What about privatization? Privatization में हमने क्या किया? What is privatization now? Privatization में we went for only one thing, which is this. Now also we are following this only, disinvestment policy. We have a disinvestment policy. ठीक है? What about globalization? अच्छा, privatization में we also went for disinvestment, plus we went for the concept of Maharatnas, Mini Ratnas and Navratnas. We have already discussed it in the industry and infrastructure lecture. Maharatna, Mini Ratna and Navratnas. What about globalization? WTO, mainly WTO. ठीक है? Did we get outsourcing business? BPO, call centers were also open due to this. ठीक है? Did we get internet access? बहुत ज़्यादा. Phones were also brought about after globalization. 2000 में phones came, internet access came to India. ठीक है? Internet and technology, I would say. This is all an effect of globalization. Yes or no? Simple. And whatever I am telling you, I am teaching you 12th standard, 11th standard NCERT. I am not teaching my own notes or some high level stuff. It is all given in NCERT. You have to read them. ठीक है? What was the impact of LPG reforms? Can you tell? What was the impact on agriculture? Stagnated. Agriculture stagnated. Remember, when the focus went on industry and service sector, agriculture stagnated. But at the same time, animal husbandry flourished. Amul was set up. White revolution happened. Operation flood happened. Milk supply बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया था. What about industry? Did FDI flow in India? Very much. In fact, 2000 के बाद तो after millennium तो FDI था India में. Rapid growth of industries we saw. But we also saw a lot of inequality in income. People are wearing jeans and eating fast food, and then there are some people who are not even getting basic rice. Right? Employment increased, but it was often referred to as jobless growth because of machinery. ठीक है? Disinvestment से हमें पैसा मिला. We did all these things. ठीक है? Did you understand the brief history of India? Economic, briefly. इससे ज़्यादा you will find in books. ठीक है, समझा? Now we will formally start the chapter on planning. Planning chapter है. Let us start planning. Planning. Let us start with planning. What happened in 1950? Do you recollect what happened in 1950? What was set up? Planning Commission. Did we discuss it? We didn't discuss it. In 1950 में Planning Commission was set up. I told you. It is written there. 1950 Planning Commission was set up for 5-year plans. Right? We made 5-year plans. So Planning Commission was set up. It was inspired by which country? Inspired by USSR. I hope you recollect all this. Right? So India's foremost engineer called M. Visvesvaraya. I remember we had discussed him in some place else. M. Visvesvaraya. ठीक है? He was the chief engineer of the Krishnaraj Sagar Dam. It's a big dam in India, Krishnaraj Sagar Dam. Find out which river. It's your duty to find out. Chief architect of Krishnaraj Sagar Dam. M. Visvesvaraya. He said in 1934 he gave a plan. 1934 he gave a plan to increase the income 2 times, 2x incomes in 10 years. Self-explanatory है, 2x income in 10 years. ठीक है? Then in 1938 a national planning committee was set up. See, we are still under British rule, but we are preparing for independence, so we are setting up a national planning committee in 1938. क्या सेटअप हुआ? National Planning Committee set up in 1938 under the chairmanship of whom? Under the chairmanship of Jawaharlal Nehru. They also recommended economic growth should happen, and the focus of economic growth should be publicly owned heavy industries. क्या मतलब? Capital goods, big machinery industries, but publicly owned. Their focus was publicly owned heavy industries. Did you understand? Publicly owned heavy industries. Why publicly owned? Can anyone tell? Why publicly owned? Because they were under the control of landlords. Earlier, big industries, big lands, they were under control of landlords. Remember, we put land ceiling. Similarly, this is sort of industry ceiling. Publicly owned karo. Government should be owned against landlords, away from landlords. हाँ, we are in 1938. अभी 1950 पहुंचे नहीं है. 1944 में came Bombay Plan. So what happened was many industrialists came together. Industrialists मिले. They came together and they formulated a plan and they told the government, pay attention. They told the government, we need protection. Without your protection, we will not be able to increase Indian industries. So you please reduce the imports. Force people to buy from us. When we will learn, we will grow. We will become big. Okay, so government support was requested, yes or no? Yes. 1944, Bombay Plan. Why Bombay Plan? Because it was earlier Bombay. and it was the Bombay state, which is currently Maharashtra and Gujarat. Earlier it was Bombay state, which was separated into Maharashtra and Gujarat in 1960. Okay? So Birla, Tata, all of them, they met in 1944 in Bombay plan. So Purushottam Thakurdas, J.R.D. Tata, G.D. Birla. These were the three people. Purushottam Thakurdas, J.R.D. Tata, G.D. Birla. 1944 Bombay plan. Okay, they said please protect industries. They said government please provide infrastructure. They said we want to increase industrial sector. We want to boost the industrial sector in the next 15 years. या जो भी है. Okay, government interventions and regulations are required. Then came M.N. Roy plan. These are all plans for economic development. कौन आया? M.N. Roy plan. M.N. Roy plan is also known as People's Plan. He said कि focus not only on industries and all but also focus on employment and wages. Employment भी चाहिए. So industries में डाल के machine लगाओगे, what will happen? Jobless growth will happen. Focused on employment and wages. Then came S.N. Agarwala plan, which is called as Gandhian plan. So if you have read history, Gandhi did not believe in capital industries. Gandhi believed in rural industries. Gandhi believed in decentralized industries. Gandhi said every household, every village, every rural area should be self-sufficient. These big industries only take away the jobs from people and apply machinery. So Gandhi was all for decentralized industries. So then came S.N. Agarwala. He was a Gandhian. And he came with Gandhian plan of decentralization. Decentralized industries. He came with decentralized industries. इतना समझा? ठीक है? I'll rub this for once. Then what happened? Then 1950 happened. 1950 happened. उसके बाद क्या हुआ? What happened? Then we started our journey of independent India planning. Planning Commission was set up in 1950 based on USSR inspirations. ठीक है? Planning Commission was set up. What were the goals of planning? What were the goals of planning? Hire. What was the goals of planning? Hire means gems. Do you know gems? You have eaten gems when we were children. That. What was the goals of planning? Goals of planning were gems. Growth. Equity. Modernization. Self-reliance. Growth. We want to focus on industrial growth, but that growth should be equitable. Not only rich people should grow, poor people should also grow. Modernize करना है. We want to buy new machines, modernize new technology, and ultimately we want to be self-reliant. समझा? These are the goals of planning. I used this in my answers in mains in 2019. The question was, what are the objectives of planning? What are the goals of planning? Growth, equity, modernization, self-reliance. Finished. Done. Khatam. Gems. ठीक है? Is it okay? Now I want you to take your pen and paper and I will dictate. Remember I told you there will be one part where it will be like school. Welcome. pause this lecture if you want. Get ready with your pen and paper and whatever. You will require 2 pages. Okay, not more, you will require 2 pages, but you will write, and along with writing we will try to understand, because this is a highly theoretical chapter, but I have to cover it. Okay, so let us start with the first plan. I will be writing beech mein. Let us start with the first plan. First plan lasted from 1951 to 1956. Sir, why 56? It's a 5-year plan. 5 years चलेगा ये. ठीक है, 5-year plans. 5-year plan. First plan lasted from 1951 to 1956. First plan focused on agriculture. So dash करके agriculture. We are only writing the keywords. Yes or no? So first plan 1951 to 56 dash agriculture. Focused on agriculture dash agriculture. Okay. Dash K.N. Raj. K.N. Raj. See, like this. This is how you make notes. He was the chief architect of the plan, K.N. Raj. He said that agriculture needs boost, agriculture needs focus. But you remember Jawaharlal Nehru was all about industries. Jawaharlal Nehru said we need industries. So from second plan onwards, focus started shifting on industries. But the first plan was agriculture industries. Right? Also write dash karke, actual growth was more than targeted growth. So we actually achieved more growth than the targeted growth. Actual growth was more than targeted growth. Okay, done. First plan done. Very good. This is how we are doing. In short, but all the important things. What do you think would be the date of second plan? क्या होगा? 56 to 61. 5 years. Dash करके लिखो industries. This started the focus on industries. Industries. This plan is called Nehru-Mahalanobis model of growth or Nehru-Mahalanobis plan. Very, very, very important. Planning में पूछेंगे तो यही आ सकता है. Nehru-Mahalanobis model. Nehru-Mahalanobis plan. Is it okay? This plan focused on import substitution. I hope it is clear to you now. Import substitution, first point, इसी plan में. Second plan, public sector ownership, under this plan only. I am giving you the significant features of this plan. Huh? What was the significant feature of the first plan? It was focused on agriculture. Who was the architect of the plan? K.N. Raj. Who was the architect of the second plan? Jawaharlal Nehru and P.C. Mahalanobis. P.C. Mahalanobis is the India's foremost statistician ever. Prasanta Chandra Mahalanobis. He actually is considered to be Einstein level statistician. So he said कि industry पे focus करो. P.C. Mahalanobis. ठीक है? Import substitution, public sector, vibrant small scale sector. In this plan only, we are in second plan only. Vibrant small scale sector. And very important, trickle down effect, something called as trickle down effect. What do you mean by trickle down? क्या लगता है? Trickle down means falling slowly. Rainfall जब होता है पेड़ से and then slowly it comes down, or in building 1 or 2 drops come down. That is trickle down. So they said that if we focus on industries, if we boost production, if we boost income, No doubt, pehle industrialists will get money because they are owning industries. But dhire dhire we will collect tax, and then this is how benefit will be trickled down to the poor. Samjha? First rich will get richer, but the benefits will also flow to the poor layer by layer, one by one. This is known as trickle down theory. Trickle down theory of economic growth or trickle down theory of economic planning. Samjha? Is this very clear? Okay. Then comes third plan. Third plan का क्या date होगा? '61 to '66. Right? First point under third plan. See, this is all self-explanatory. Huh? Do you need any explanation for this? कुछ है नहीं इसमें. First point under third plan. First time borrowed from IMF. We borrowed for the first time from IMF in 1966. यही तो लोन हम डिफॉल्ट किए 20 साल बाद. And then we had to do balance of payment crisis. Undergo through balance of payments crisis. First time borrowed from IMF. Is it okay? Clear? One more thing. Will IMF give you loan ऐसे ही or will it impose some conditions? Some conditions. Second point. Rupee devalued for first time in 1966. Rupee devalued for first time in 1966. 2 points हो गए. Under third plan. Huh? We are still under third plan. Rupee devalued. Under third plan, first point is first time borrowed from IMF. Second point is rupee devalued for first time since 1966. Is it clear? Yes or no? Third point, in third plan only. 1962 China conflict. These are the significant events which happened during that plan period. 1962 China conflict. 1965 Pakistan conflict. Self-explanatory है. 1965 Pakistan conflict. ठीक है? What do you think happened after this plan? After this plan, Jawaharlal Nehru died and Lal Bahadur Shastri also died. And wars were there and famines were there. Drought हुआ था, famines थे. So we stopped planning. We say कि नहीं हो सकता planning. So there were plan holidays. Plan holiday means what? 5-year planning was stopped but was substituted with 1-year plan. एक साल का plan बनेगा. So 66 तक तो plan बन गया था, third plan. 66 to 67, 67 to 68 and 68 to 69. There were 3 annual plans. There were 3 plan holidays. See, 1-year plan is not a plan in a traditional sense. So it is called as a plan holiday. So we can say there were 3 annual plans and 3 plan holidays. Okay? ठीक है? This is ठीक. After that again we resume planning. तो अभी क्या डेट होगा? 4th का 69 to 74, 5 years. 69 to 74. ठीक है? First point under 69 to 74. First point, growth with stability. The objective of the plan was growth with stability. Next, education and employment. So see, we are going towards social now. Earlier we focused on primary sector, then secondary sector, now social. एजुकेशन एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट. थर्ड, बैंक नेशनलाइजेशन, है ना, 69 में हुआ था एंड देन 80 में हुआ. बैंक नेशनलाइजेशन. फोर्थ, ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन रिजल्ट्स. I hope you know green revolution. Fifth, Pakistan War 1972. Okay. Last point in the fourth plan only, privy purse abolition. Privy purse abolition. So the title holders होते थे ना, राजा महाराजा, we used to give them some money for them to join in independent India. So I hope you know there were states and then there were princely territories also. So we told them we'll keep on giving you money, you join India. But in 1969, under the fourth plan, privy purses were abolished. Okay, privy purse abolition. What about the fifth plan? What would be the date for the fifth plan? 74 to 79. But something happened. Twist हो गया. अच्छा, इसका objective was growth for social justice. Okay. Congress government fell down, Congress government lost, and Janata Party came to power in this plan. When Janata Party came to power, this plan was cut short in 1977. 77 में Janata Party said we will have our own plan. But Janata Party also fell down immediately. So 79 to 80, that 1 year was a plan holiday. So Janata Party cut short in 1977. ठीक है, then एक दो साल वो चला and 78 में it fell down. So 79 to 80 is a plan holiday. मतलब annual plan. Fifth plan was cut short. So you know normally prelims question can also come ki which plan did not go for 5 years. This plan did not go for 5 years. Fifth plan did not go for 5 years. What about sixth plan? क्या होगा date? 80 to 85. Sixth plan. You know, Indira Gandhi came to power on a very famous slogan, Garibi Hatao. That was the famous slogan. So remove poverty was the theme of sixth plan. Remove poverty. Okay. First point under sixth plan, remove poverty. So what is the effect of liberalization on industries? MNCs came in. Yes or no? Competitions increased. Do you agree with this? We got lot of products. We got new machinery. We got new technology. We also have tax issues because of liberalization, because global tax. Remember BEPS and all of that. All of that will come under your syllabus point number 8, effect of liberalization on industries. Okay, so this is what you have to think. It is not कि ऐसा 10 point है ये लिख दो, ऐसा नहीं. You have to make up your points and you have to write them down. You have to make your notes and then you have to prepare those. Changes in industrial policy I will show you. I am going to show you changes in industrial policy. Okay. क्या लिखा? Removal of poverty. Achieved rate more than target rate. So target growth rate जो था उससे ज़्यादा we achieved. So if we targeted 5% growth rate, we achieved more than 5%. Achieved rate more than targeted rate. Then also write bank nationalization part 2. 6 more banks were nationalized in 1980. Bank nationalization part 2. Then we have IMF loan in 1981. Again, we took IMF loan in 1981, and this was the problem of, or this started the problem of balance of payment crisis. What do you think 7th plan का date क्या होगा? 85 to 90? 85 to 90? Right under 85 to 90. Focus on increasing food grain production. Focus on increasing food grain production. Focus on increasing food grain production plus employment. पता है 2 paragraphs 3 paragraphs दिए होते हैं. I am just cut shorting it down and writing it in 3-4 lines. Okay, this is easy for revision. You have to read books. Obviously, if you find more points, you have to add them to this point. Let's say you came to know sixth plan में और भी कुछ हुआ था. Write it, add it. But एक base तैयार हो जाएगा ना. One base would be ready. Achieve rate more than target rate. Achieved rate more than targeted rate. Okay, 3-year EXIM policy announced. What is EXIM? 3-year EXIM policy announced. Three-year EXIM policy announced. What is EXIM? Export-import. 3-year export-import policy announced. What happened at the end of 1990? Can you guess? What happened at the end of 7th plan? Balance of payment crisis happened, right? So write BOP crisis. So normally ये first 7 plans are considered to be pre-LPG, बराबर? So 1991, 92, we were not able to make any plans because we did not know what is their economic situation. We did not know क्या होगा आगे. So 90 to 91, 91 to 92 are plan holidays. Right? 8th plan onwards we started our economy. We kick started our economy. 8th plan. तो क्या होगा? 8th plan का year क्या होगा? 8th plan का year was 92 to 97. This plan marks the beginning of economic liberalization of India. Yes or no? So first point in 8th point, WTO member. India became WTO member. Before that, this, what was the second plan called? Who was the architect or who was the main brain behind second? Nehru and Mahalanobis. 8th plan also very important plan because this is the first plan since liberalization. Very, very, very important plan. It was made together by Prime Minister and Finance Minister of India. Who was the Prime Minister at that time? P.V. Narasimha Rao. Okay, remember in scam series he says that it is not a Harshad Mehta scam, it is a Narasimha Rao scam. Remember that Ram Jetmalani ka scene. where he gives the briefcase in front of news reporters, he opens and all. Okay, so Prime Minister was P.V. Narasimha Rao and Finance Minister was Manmohan Singh. Okay, so this plan is a major history. Like even economists will stand up and clap for this plan. It is that brilliant. The entire LPG, the way those 3 years India has turned itself, India has reduced imports, duties, LPG was carried out. So all the people, civil servants, planning commission members, economists behind it, Rao and Manmohan Singh, they together contributed and made this legendary plan. And from here onwards, so hence this plan is called as Rao Manmohan Singh plan. Okay, this is called as Rao Manmohan Singh plan. Or Rao Manmohan Singh model. This is called as Rao Manmohan Singh model. First point, WTO member. First point, WTO member. Second point, SEBI, 1992. Third point, Panchayati Raj institutions. Remember 73rd, 74th Amendment PRI, Panchayati Raj institutions. Right? Actual growth was much higher than targeted growth. Just imagine how happy people would be, at least in the economic and finance field, those who understand these things. Actual growth higher than targeted growth. And especially when 2 years ago you were in BOP crisis. This is a turnaround of the century. Even world was astonished. If you read articles from 90s, you will see newspaper reports saying that it is unbelievable that a country like India has turned itself around. There are critics also, there is no doubt there are criticisms also. Criticism kya hai? Jobless growth. Jobs are lost to foreigners because the base of that company is foreign. Then they use Indian markets only for their own good, for their own selling of their own goods. Okay? Basically, they are earning. So, foreign countries are profiting on our markets. That is the criticism of globalization or LPG reforms. Okay? Also write LPG reforms. इसके पहले वाले plan में we wrote BOP crisis ना. So here LPG reforms. You know what happened is, इसके पहले वाले plan में we used to direct the agriculture sector, direct the industry sector कि do this, do that. बराबर controls थे. Small scale industries, I hope you know small scale industries. IPR, Industrial Policy Resolution. We used to direct कि these are the licenses, these are the requirements, etc. Now planning moved from, as we went for LPG, planning moved from directive to indicative. समझ में आ रहा है? Indicative means we'll just indicate. RBI just indicates कि it is going to lower the rate or it just lowers the rate. वो indication है. It does not say buy more, sell more, etc. So we went from directive planning to indicative planning. We went from directive planning to indicative planning. What will be the date of 9th plan? '97 to 2002. Kargil War 1999. Kargil War 1999. East Asian Financial Crisis 1997. East Asian Financial Crisis 1997. Pokhran 2 nuclear test 1998. Pokhran 2 nuclear test 1998. What will be the date of 10th plan? क्या डेट होगा 10th प्लान का? 02-07, 2002 to 2007. Plan of high growth, right? Plan of high growth. Why? Why high growth? Remember, information technology, IT बहुत बड़ा था इस बार. Target of 8% GDP growth. Target of 8% GDP growth. Reduction in gender gaps in literacy and wages. Reduction in gender gaps in literacy and wages by at least 50%. By at least 50% by 2007. You know how much was the 8% was very high growth rate, huh? जो 8% target किया था, that was very high. Do you know how much was the growth rate achieved? 7.8. We achieved the high growth rate. ठीक है, 7.8% was achieved. What do you think is the date of 11th plan then? 7 to 12. 11th plan 7 to 12. What happened? Did something happen in 2000? What? What happened? Global economic recession happened. Global economic recession. Fiscal stimulus introduced. बराबर? Fiscal stimulus introduced. The theme of the plan was, write the theme, towards faster and more inclusive growth. What do you think 12th plan का date क्या होगा? 2012 to 2017. What was the theme of the 12th plan? Write the theme of the 12th plan. Faster, sustainable and more inclusive growth. Very similar to 11th plan, huh? Very similar. Faster, sustainable and more inclusive growth. Faster, sustainable and more inclusive growth. ठीक है? What happened in 2014? 2014 में planning commission was dismantled. 2014 में planning stopped. So this plan, 12th plan, was stopped 2014 में. Planning Commission was replaced by Niti Aayog. We don't have 5-year plans now. So this 5-year plan was given time to complete till 2017, but at the same time 2014 में Planning Commission was dismantled and it was replaced by Niti Aayog. ठीक है, in Lakshmikant you have detailed information about the difference between Planning Commission and Niti Aayog. What happened during this plan? Do you know anything that happened during this plan? In 12th plan, do you think anything happened? Demonetization. That is a significant event of this plan. What are the achievements and failures of planning? Basically, what are the achievements? Industry increased, world trade increased, मतलब हमारा contribution in the world trade increased, FDI definitely, technology definitely, right? Achievement of planning. ठीक है, poverty reduced. What are the failures of planning? Unemployment still remained high. Threat to Indian industries. Threat to Indian industries. What else did we plan for? Hunger, poverty, still, see it reduced but still large. It reduced but it is still large. ठीक है, 1991 crisis, balance of payment crisis happened despite planning. Failure है ना वो, नहीं तो होता ही नहीं, प्लान इतना कर रहे हो 5 years का. How did balance of payment crisis happen? ठीक है, war and all is fine, that is international relation, but economically समझा? Now I'll show you or I'll tell you very quickly the difference between Planning Commission and Niti Aayog. ठीक है? So Planning Commission was more top down in nature. Do you understand what is top down in nature? ऊपर से सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से आएगा कि this should be done and then that should be done. Niti Aayog is more bottom up in nature. They will ask industries, what do you want to do? Industries will say, sir, we want to increase our exports. Which industries? Okay, car exports. Then planning would be done. Niti Aayog does not make plans, it makes strategies. Okay, Niti Aayog, you will read in Lakshmikant, there are detailed differences which are given between Planning Commission and Lakshmikant. So I'm not going to waste time in that. सब कुछ दिया हुआ है. ठीक है. So Planning Commission was more top down in nature. Niti Aayog is more bottom up in nature. Niti Aayog में there is a contribution of state and center both. Planning Commission only had center representatives. Are you understanding the difference between Planning Commission and Niti Aayog? ठीक है. Planning Commission, you will read in Lakshmikant, ये पॉलिटी का पार्ट है. Planning Commission had some functions or some measures or some responsibilities for deciding the grants between states. Niti Aayog does not have such. Niti Aayog is a pure think tank. This is a think tank. It will only perform strategies. It is a think tank. समझा क्या? Right? Normally, when you grow, when you plan so much, when you do everything, normally you transition from primary to secondary to tertiary. Yes or no? Did India follow this graph or something else happened? What happened? India went from primary to tertiary. Secondary, abhi bhi it is very less. Our industrial sector, our infrastructure sector is languishing, is lagging behind. Samjha? This is very less. This is still languishing and lagging behind. This. And this is boosting. More than 50% of GDP is coming from here. Why? Why do you think tertiary sector is growing fast? Tell me that. Why do you think after 91 reforms, why did service sector grow so fast? Why? English speaking population. British के अंडर थे ना हम लोग. So call centers में use होगा. What else? What else? Foreign education and foreign jobs बाहर जाके करेंगे. What else? Why did service sector boost so much? Insurance. Mobile everyone started using. Huge market. Right? Now why did this did not go up? ये क्यों नहीं हुआ? अच्छा, which is good? This growing is good or this growing is good? It is always industry growing is good because it has a big multiplier effect. This is तो ठीक है, it is good, no doubt. Foreign exchange is coming in, but this does not result in equitable growth. ये सिर्फ थोड़े rich people का काम है ना, services and all. This should grow. This will provide employment. This will provide employment for 10 people. This will provide employment for 100 people. Do you agree with me? This has a multiplier effect. Why did this did not grow? What do you think? Colonial policies. Achha, this was not taxed till 94. Remember we discussed this. Not taxed till 1994. So boost होगा. Why did secondary sector, manufacturing sector did not grow? Restrictive policies. पहले से ही restriction डाला था. Restrictive policies. We know license Raj and all. Then inefficiency due to nationalization. सब कुछ nationalize करोगे तो फिर inefficient होगा. Then poor design of policies. Poor design of policies, example SEZ. Poor design of policies, example SEZ. Okay, we have covered SEZ in the industries infrastructure chapter. What is SEZ and all? What else? Very, very, very important. Restrictive labor laws. Less availability of electricity. Environmental permits. WTO conflicts, even in industries. Less electricity. What is the meaning of restrictive labor laws? So our labor laws was so rigid that you cannot fire an employee without taking permission of government. Now which industry will grow if there are such rigid labor laws? You have to give extra compensation to the, think from an employer angle now. Whether you will do business or whether you will take care of your employees. See, you need basic care of your employees, but it is not that you cannot leave, you should leave business and take care of your employees. Our labor laws were very rigid. That resulted in the formation of trade unions. Labor started demanding lot more wages. Employer says, I don't have money, but labor is saying we will go on strike if you don't pay us money. Employer does not have that money. Do you think industry will increase? These are factors for which secondary went down. These are factors for which this went up. And obviously now Jio bhi aa jayega idhar ek aur factor, because internet connectivity is there. So that resulted in more services being more accessible to the people. Yes or no? Samjha? Niti Aayog that we discussed is looking at future industries, future sectors like renewable energy, like electronic vehicles, e-vehicles, okay, storage, battery storage technology, all those things. Health, maybe there are robotics in health and all. So Niti Aayog is more concerned with that. Okay? So that concludes our planning chapter. Did you understand? Yes or no? Planning. Okay, we plan, we failed, we succeeded, and now what is happening? Historical chapter tha, little bit historical. Did you understand this completely? Yes or no? Do you recollect anything about Finance Commission? What? Finance Commission. Currently, which is the Finance Commission? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 15th Finance Commission. 15th Finance Commission chal raha hai. ठीक है, article, which article, do you know which article? Article 280. Okay, Finance Commission is article 280. You will find it in Lakshmikant, don't worry. ठीक है? Let us look at a few recommendations of Finance Commission. I wanted to show you this earlier also, but we didn't find time. We'll just quickly browse through it. See this, it's again a PRS report because I've picked it up. See, report of the 15th Finance Commission for 21-26. Do you know what is alternate scheme of devolution? What is alternate scheme of devolution? Center to states and then across states. Who recommends this? How much to give, how much not to give? Finance Commission recommends. Finance Commission is a statutory, it's a constitutional body under Article 280. Always remember this. Okay? The Finance Commission is a constitutional body formed by the President of India to give suggestions on center-state financial relations. 15th Finance Commission chaired by Mr. N.K. Singh was required to submit 2 reports. The first report, see this was exceptional, ये normally नहीं होता, it is only 1 year, but first report for 20-21 and second report from 21-26, doesn't matter. See this, share of states in central taxes. The share of states in the central taxes, how much is recommended? How much is recommended? 41%. By heart this. How much is recommended? So 41% of center's taxes go to states. Kitna? 41% of center's taxes will go to states. This is less than 42% recommended by 14th Finance Commission. So every Finance Commission gives recommendations for a period of 5 years. So पहले का कब दिया होगा? 15-20 दिया होगा by 14th Finance Commission 2015-2020. This 15th Finance Commission is giving from 2021 to 2026. This was 41%. This is 41%. Last year it was, last Finance Commission it was 42%. Why 1% less? Because 1% is to provide for the newly formed union territories of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. So 1% पैसा वहाँ जाएगा. Very easily MCQs can be formed from this paragraph itself. समझा? How is this decided? 41, 42. What is the criteria? See this. See this table. See only this. See only this. Income distance means what? Poor, poverty. Richest का average income कितना है state का, not richest. Average income state का कितना है and what is your income? So now tell me, if your state is poor, so on a national level we see average income is 100 rupees. If Bihar is getting 25 rupees, is it poor? Yes. If average income is 100 rupees, Bihar is getting 25 rupees, it is poor. ठीक है? Income distance. Income distance is the distance of a state's income from the state with the highest income. ये समझा? There are so many states in India. Let's say highest average income, average ही लेते, एक एक का कैसे लेंगे? Average income in India, highest average income in India is of Maharashtra, suppose 200 rupees. अब बिहार का 25 है and Delhi का let's say 125 है. Who is closer to Maharashtra? Delhi. Who is less poor? Delhi. Who is more poor? Bihar. Who will require more funds? Bihar. Income distance. So remember, it is also from center to states, and how many states na? See, 41% will go to the states, but वो 14% से किसको कितना जाएगा? वो ये decide करेगा. This will be deciding. So tell me, if income distance is more, the funding would be more or less? If income distance of a state is more, funding would be more or less? Funding would be more. Income distance is the distance of a state's income from the state with the highest income. These are all averages. These are all averages. Income of a state has been computed as per average per capita GSDP. वो तो छोड़ दो. A state with lower per capita income will have a higher share. Lower income Bihar था, higher share in income. What is second criteria? Area. Area. So bigger area, bigger income, or smaller area, bigger income? Bigger area, bigger income, you need more funds to maintain your state. उसका weightage दिया है. This is 45% weightage is given to income distance. 15% weightage is given to area. Population मतलब जितना ज़्यादा population उतना ज़्यादा, और less population less. More population, more money required because NFSA, PDS, so many things. 71 population was used in 1520, and we are now using 2011 population. How much weightage? 15%. Now tell me, are we trying to reduce population in India or increase population? Is it not encouraging high population? Because the states with high population getting more money. Is it not encouraging that? Are you getting what I am saying? So this is what happened when Finance Commission recommendations were being made or were being discussed. South Indian states started protesting. Why? Because they are highly successful in population control. We are promoting population control. पहली बात तो ये पता है, yes or no? We are controlling population. Yes or no? South India is much more successful in controlling population compared to other states. ठीक है, southern states, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, these are much successful. But because of their population control success, do you think they'll get more income or less income as per population? Less income. They are protesting. That is why this was introduced. See this was not there in 14 Finance Commission. This was introduced. क्या ये? Demographic performance. The more you perform on population control measures, the more money you get, because you are getting less money in population criteria. So UP, Bihar will get more money here, but very less money here. But southern states will get more money here and less money here. Did you understand? Forest cover simple है, but forest cover अभी नहीं है. See, forest cover मतलब how much part of your state is covered under forest land. State wise है ना ये. But that was very rigid, that was very restrictive. We said कि forest cover के साथ biological diversity भी देखो. You see other things also, you see quality of air, you see environment quality. So for a state which has good environment, would you give it more funds? Yes, you will reward it with more funds. Forest and ecology डाला. Overall ecology. So if a state is successful in conserving tigers, so you will give it more funds, yes or no? You will reward it. And if a state is successful in generating more taxes, you will reward it because of fiscal efforts. Tax and fiscal efforts. समझा? These all are the criteria जिसके basis पे income is distributed amongst the states. Yes or no? So now answer. If a state's forest and ecology is, if Maharashtra's forest and ecology is better than Karnataka, so would it get more money or less money? More money. If Maharashtra's population is more than Karnataka's, would it get less money or more money? More money. Population. If Maharashtra's area is more than Karnataka, would it get more money or less money? More money. If Maharashtra is poorer than Karnataka, would it get more money or less money? Poor है तो more मिलेगा. If Maharashtra is richer than Karnataka, less money. If Maharashtra is successful in controlling population than Karnataka, then would it get more money or less money? More money because of demographic. Prelims के लिए क्या याद रखना है? Which has the highest weightage here? Demographic performance. You need to remember this. 45% है ना weightage demographic performance को. 45. हाँ? 45% weightage है ना? This is the weightage. Which is the least weightage? Tax and fiscal effort. So you need to remember this. 40% and 2.5, 45% and 2.5%. You have to remember it. Prelims के लिए it is relevant. Right? So they will say कि population has the highest criteria, area is the highest criteria. ऐसा नहीं है. Demographic performance is the income distance. Income distance. Sorry, what did I say? Demographic performance. नहीं, I meant income distance. ठीक है? So they will give options. Which is the highest, which is the lowest. So you know income distance is the highest and second lowest is tax and fiscal efforts. ये बीच का तो 15 है. So you can, once you know this and this, eliminate करके answer आ जाएगा. Don't worry about that. ठीक है? Do you know what is grants? What are grants? Given by center to states. They might be some specific grants. They might be general grants. They might be tied to some achievements. If you perform, then only we'll give you grants. They might be random also. ठीक है? Revenue deficit. Do you know revenue deficit? To fill in states revenue deficit, कहाँ से आएगा पैसा? Center से. Sector specific grants for 8 sectors. You have to buy hard these sectors. Sector specific grants for 8 sectors. Prelims के लिए और mains के लिए you have to buy hard this. What is the first sector? Health. To boost health in center or states? States. Grants are given, na? These are grants. These are grants. Grants are given by center to states to boost health in states. School education, higher education, implementation of agricultural reforms, APMC. उसके लिए भी पैसा दे रहे कि you are abolishing APMC, you will need grant, you will loss of money होगा. Maintenance of प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क योजना roads, maintenance of rural roads, judiciary, statistics and aspirational districts and blocks. What are aspirational districts? These are backward districts. So we run a scheme called as aspirational districts program. It is by Niti Aayog. It was asked in prelims UPSC. ठीक है? So aspirational districts program में they will identify the poorest of the poor districts of a state and they will aggressively try to improve their condition. So उसके लिए भी grant है because state के पास कहाँ से पैसा आएगा? Center. What are the 8 sectors? Can we recollect? Health, school education, higher education, then whatever you can think of, judiciary, statistics, maintenance of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana roads, agri reforms, last वाला क्या था? Aspirational districts, हो गया 8 sectors. Then you also have state specific grants. Some states require more grants. ठीक है? State specific grants जिसको social need ज़्यादा है उसको मिलेगा. Administrative governance, this is okay if you don't remember this. Water and sanitation, preservation of culture, tourism. So if some state is very high in tourism, which state is very high in tourism? Rajasthan. बहुत tourism होता है. They need more grants because they need to maintain their tourism वाला infrastructure and all. ठीक है? Grants to local bodies. Local bodies means Panchayati Raj, municipal, उनके लिए भी grants है. You have to read this, it is very interesting. You have to read this. Grants to local bodies other than health grants, ये सब ठीक है. Disaster risk management के लिए grants are given. So, center is giving 41% to states. Apart from that, these grants are also given, and that 41% how is to be divided? उसका भी criteria दिया हुआ है. Which is the highest? Income distance. ठीक है? Is population 1970 used or 2011 used? 2011. 1970 was used in the earlier finance commission, 14th finance commission. ठीक है? Disaster risk management के लिए भी grant है. Just imagine. Fiscal deficit and debt levels. Read this. समझ में आता है क्या? देखो. Samjha? Did we understand this? What is this? Fiscal deficit. What are they saying here? They are saying कि if a state achieves less than 4%, it was allowed 4%, it did get 3%, तो 1% आगे you can extra carry on. ठीक है? See this? Liabilities, debt to GDP ratio की बात चल रही है यहाँ पे, debt to GDP ratio. It recommended forming a high-powered group to review the FRBM Act and recommend a new FRBM framework because post-COVID, we need a new framework. ठीक है? You will read this. Will you read this as a homework? You will understand this. ऐसे पढ़ाई की हमने. See this? क्या लिखा है? Inverted duty structure. Do we remember what is inverted duty structure? Import duty on raw materials being higher than that on finished goods. तो finished goods import कर लो. Inverted duty structure between intermediate raw materials and final outputs needs to be resolved. समझा? This is something I need you to remember. Rate structure should be rationalized by merging the rates of 12 and 18%. So 12, 18 को they have said merge कर दो, 15 कुछ कर दो, average. ठीक है? Other recommendations and all सब कुछ दिया हुआ है. This you should not see. You should only read itna. Go through this. This is very important. Only after you go through the fiscal policy chapter, you should go through this. Is it clear? Is it understood? Very, very, very interesting. ठीक है? समझा? Now there are some concepts which I want you to know, some economic concepts which I want you to know. So we'll cover in brief, we'll cover a topic called as poverty. What is poverty? What is poverty? What do you think is poverty? No money. Is it only monetarily or anything else? जो poverty है, do you calculate only using money or is there social poverty also? Social poverty भी होता है. Remember we saw food security can also be social problem related. ठीक है? So poverty is basically you are not able to fulfill your desires. Yes or no? Be it emotional desires, be it social desires, be it economic desires. Right? If you don't have any friends, then you are emotionally, or if you don't have emotions, then you are emotionally poor. Yes or no? It's a poverty. It's a general word. See, poverty normally it is used in economic sense, but it can be used in all other senses also. It's a normal English word. Poverty. समझा इतना? We are concerned ourselves with economic poverty. So there are some facts I would like to tell you. There are two types of poverties which we should know. One is absolute poverty, one is relative poverty. What do you mean by absolute poverty? And what do you mean by relative poverty? If I tell you people earning less than 100 rupees per day are poor, ठीक है? Absolute poverty, because you are referring it to some preconceived level of income, right? If I tell you out of 10 people are earning from 1000 rupees to 200 rupees, तो 200 rupees वाला poor माना जाएगा. Why? Because you are comparing it with 1000 rupees. If I tell you people are earning from 200 rupees to 50 rupees, then who will be poor? 50 rupees. Relative poverty. Relative is with relation to some other reference. And this is absolute poverty. Absolute poverty means either R या par. Relative means it is relative. For example, if you go and stay in a, what we say? If you go and stay in slums, for example, would you be poor there or comparatively richer there? Richer. If you go and stay in 5-star hotel, would you be comparatively poor there or richer there? Did you understand relative poverty क्या होता है? Now tell me, you are earning 5,000 rupees per month. Are you poor or are you not poor? You cannot say because you don't know. Let's say things are costing between 10 rupees, 20 rupees, whatever you want cost 10, 20 rupees, and then you are earning 5,000 per month. एकदम आराम से will be able to afford. Things are costing 10,000, 20,000. Relative poverty. समझा? It is so easy. It's very easy. Relative poverty. Absolute poverty, relative poverty. ठीक है? Absolute poverty means कि people earning less than 500 rupees are absolutely poor. Right? So can I say relative poverty will keep on changing depending on your circumstances, depending on your social status, depending on the prices of goods and services, but absolute poverty will never change. Once you define कि इससे नीचे poor है, it is absolute poverty. Yes or no? Sir, how do you define कि इससे नीचे poor है? I decide less than 50 per day, income less than 50 per day is poor. ठीक है? So if someone is falling here, is he poor or not poor? Not poor. If someone is falling here, is it poor or not poor? Poor. This is an income criteria, don't you agree? Yes or no? This is called as poverty line. Very important. This is called as poverty line. समझा इतना? Poverty line क्या है? World Bank has given a criteria of less than $1.9 per day for extreme poverty. World Bank का criteria is, so World Bank's poverty line, you can say World Bank's poverty line is less than $1.90 per day for extreme poverty, not for normal poverty, extreme poverty. ठीक है? Now suppose this is the person earning highest income, बराबर? This is the person earning lowest income, बराबर है? ऐसा हम अगर बनाते हैं, poverty line let's say it is here, इसके ऊपर if you are earning you are what? Rich, not poor, actually not rich, not poor. ठीक है? इसके नीचे suppose if I tell you इसके नीचे there are 523 people, suppose इसके नीचे how many number of poor are there? 523. This is known as, or suppose if I tell there are total 1000 people, उसमें से 523 are less than poor. What is the percentage of poverty? 52.3%. बराबर? The number of people below poverty line are poor, yes or no? This is poverty line. So poverty line is expressed in terms of the income criteria. So here what is our poverty line? 50 rupees per day. The number of people below the poverty line, when they are counted, that is known as head count ratio. Very important, head count ratio. Head count or head count ratio. Now this can be expressed in absolute terms कि 523 poor है, 80 crore poor है, 50 crore poor है, or in percentage terms 52.3% poor. India has a poverty rate of 25 to 28%. ठीक है? India has a poverty rate of how much? 25 to 28%. Did you understand head count? What is head count? The number of poor people, whether in percentage or as a ratio, is known as head count ratio. ठीक है? Mostly it is shown in percentage, mostly. ठीक है? Now tell me, very interesting concept. चलो, not poor को भूल जाते हैं हम for a while. Let us look at these people. Are these poor people? Yes. Anyone who is earning here. Person who is earning here is earning relatively more or less than person who is earning here? More है, because upwards है, ठीक है. Now ये 523 लोगों का मैं एवरेज लेता हूँ, लेट्स से एवरेज इनकम कितना है बताओ. Now there are two possibilities or many possibilities, but two we will discuss. इन लोग का एवरेज कैन फॉल एनीवेयर बिटवीन दिस एंड दिस. So let us say average falls somewhere here. Can I say they are very close to the poverty line? Average. Some might be here, there is no doubt. But majority of them are here, that is why average has come upper. And out of 6 subjects, if you get 90 plus in 5, in one subject you will get very less. But overall your percentage would be higher. ठीक है? और ये भी हो सकता है कि poverty line might come here. Are you understanding this? So which is better? This is better or this is better? This is better. ठीक है? How are you measuring it? मतलब how are you deciding it is better? The gap is less. Gap between what? Average income of the poor, not of whole. Whole का average can be anything. Average income of the poor and poverty line. Same here, average income of the poor and poverty line. This gap between average income of the poor and poverty line, the lesser the better or more the better? Lesser the better. This gap is called as simple. समझा? We take average of these people only and we see कि ये लोग यहाँ आ रहे, बीच में आ रहे कि यहाँ आ रहे. So what are we trying to achieve here? We want to raise the average income slowly to this, and finally इसके ऊपर. That is the ultimate objective. 50 years लगेंगे, 100 200 years लगेंगे, but that is the objective, yes or no? ठीक है? इसका एडवांस नाम बताओ क्या आपको? एडवांस नाम FGT index, Foster-Greer-Thorbecke index. It is nothing but poverty gap. It shows poverty gap. Did you understand this? Yes or no? ठीक है? Now let us talk about. So when you read NCERT, you will find that this is also very nice. I like this. In NCERT, you will find that not all people are below poverty line always. Can your income go like this? Season आ गया, business हो गया, your income went above. It can go again. Can your income go like this? COVID time, your income went below poverty line, it can go. Read NCERT poverty chapter, standard 11, Indian economic development. They are called chronically poor. So those who remain below poverty line or sometimes go above poverty line are known as chronically poor because they are chronically poor. Then there are occasional poor, sometimes not poor. Then there are occasional non-poor, and then there are non-poor कि वो तो नहीं जाते, they don't even reach here, they are ऊपर only. ठीक है? Read NCERT, it's very good, self-explanatory, so that is why I'm not covering. ठीक है? Now what about India? India में कौन poverty देता है? India में who estimates poverty and all? There are various committees which have been given, which were made to measure poverty. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. You read it in the book, you will come to know. There are two major things which we want to know. How do you measure poverty? चलो बताओ. How do you measure poverty? कि कितना minimum income उसको चाहिए? But कैसे decide करोगे? Think and tell now. How do you think you decided कि $2 per day is the level? Suppose. How did you decide that? कैसे आता है? If I ask you to tell me who is poor, you will show me these two seem poor. Based on what? Based on income. But that income is less or more. How will you know? When they are unable to buy things. What basic things they need? Food, clothing, shelter. And nowadays, education, health. Nowadays, these things also. So can I say that I will take the expense of food, clothing, shelter, I will average it out and I will say कि those who are not able to afford this are poor and those who are able to afford this are not poor. And then I will say, so for example, average cost of food, clothing, shelter साल का इतना होता है तो दिन का कितना होता है? It comes to let's say 300 rupees per day. So can I say people earning less than 300 rupees per day are not able to even afford the basic needs, hence they are poor? समझ में आ रहा है आपको? Can I also say that people who are able to afford these things and earning more than 300 per day are not poor? How did 300 come? Did you see what we did? We took the cost of food, cost of clothes, cost of shelter, we averaged it out depending on where you are living, right? And then, so can I say different states will have different poverty lines? Maharashtra will have much higher poverty line because basic people also earn there. So for example, a cab driver in Maharashtra will earn much more than a cab driver in, let's say, some northeastern state. बराबर? So northeastern state में poverty line low होगी या ज़्यादा होगी? Low होगी ना? Poverty line 50 rupees per day का, instead it will be 30 rupees per day. But in Maharashtra it will be much higher, 200 rupees per day. Reason being, income is also high plus expenses are also high in Maharashtra. Things are expensive, housing, food and all is expensive comparatively. So poverty lines is not same for every state, they are different. But when we do average of all state poverty line, would we not get India poverty line? Average we will. कैसे आए हम poverty line पे? How did we come to poverty line? How did we come to poverty line? We took the cost of basic needs and then said कि those who are not able to afford this, yes or no? ठीक है? You know Dadabhai Naoroji, have you heard about him in history? He was the first person to actually try to compute a poverty line. You know what he did? He went to jail and jail में cost देखा कितना है, because jail का खाना basic होता है, jail के clothes basic होते हैं, so he saw कि इतना तो everyone needs. Otherwise, you know, it is better off going to jail because there you get food and clothing and shelter. So he went to jail, he took jail का cost. Are you getting me? ठीक है? That is one approach. Second approach is, how much food do you require? We took the cost of food, but how much food do you require? वो कैसे पता चलेगा? We normally do difference between male and female, urban and rural. So tell me, urban people would require more calories or rural people would require more calories? Rural people. Female would require more calories or male would require more? Male would require more calories. Urban ho, rural ho, male requires more calories. Body hota. To sustain the body weight, you need that calories. So we ये तो agreed है, I hope कि urban people require lesser calories because physically they are not working. But rural people require more calories. Now, what do they eat in urban areas to get those calories? What do they eat in rural areas to get those calories? Are you getting me? So rural area में let's say dal rice is eaten. Suppose. So to get 2400 calories from dal rice, how much dal and rice would be required every day? वो निकालो. उसका cost निकालो. Add cooking cost, add oil cost, salt cost, everything add करो. So to get 2400 calories from dal rice, how much cost is required? That gets added to your poverty line. समझा कैसे निकलता है? Now, don't you agree urban criteria would be different? Male, female would be different. Prices would be different in rural, urban areas. So even though rural areas में calories are more, the prices are less. So poverty line in rural areas is lesser than poverty line in urban areas. Don't you agree? These are ways of, and this is what is followed by planning commission, erstwhile planning commission. ठीक है? These are the ways of finding out poverties. These are the ways of calculating poverties. Don't you agree? So earlier we used to have this calorie based approach, calorie based. Now we are moving away from a calorie based to a more welfare based approach. Why? Because food is only one part of our expense. Clothing, shelter के साथ nowadays what is added? Transport. People need cycle or scooty or anything. Even poor people need to go to school, to go to college. Education cost. Health cost. Vaccination हो, अभी तो vaccine का भी cost है plus, but in government it is free. But overall health checkup cost, कोई बीमार पड़ गया, so hospitalization cost, doctor visit cost, consultation charges. pregnancy cost, everything is there. So we combine all of that and we come up with a figure. If you are earning less than, suppose 500 rupees per day, you are poor in an urban area, because costs are different in urban and rural. Don't you agree with this? Theek. Now since you have agreed with this, we come to a committee. I am directly skipping to the main committee. So there were various committees which discussed about these things. Okay? There were committees that are given in books. So alag committee, lakda wala committee, everything. One very important committee which we should know is the Tendulkar committee, not Sachin Tendulkar. Okay? It is the Tendulkar committee. Tendulkar committee gave some recommendations. Tendulkar committee said कि rural and urban areas में poverty line ये होनी चाहिए. So what did they take? They take nourishment criteria, which is what? Food. They took clothing, they took house में rent, they took transport, they took education. They also took calories किससे आ रही है? Protein से आ रही है, fat से आ रही है. They also did this calculation. So interesting, right? And then finally they said that the criteria is 27 and 32. Huh. 27 in rural areas. What is this 27? Rupees 27 per day in rural areas. And rupees 32 per day in urban areas. 27 and 32. Sorry, 33, yeah. Per day. If you are earning less than this much per day, then you are poor. Don't you notice urban area ki poverty line is higher? Why? Because prices are higher. Tendulkar committee. Okay, this was constituted by Congress government. Then there were a lot of protests which said that this is very low. कि ये poverty नहीं है. Even those who are earning 40 rupees are also poor. ऐसा in urban areas. Per day हाँ ये. कितना होता है per month? 30 into 30, 900 rupees, 1000 रुपया महीने का. So obviously they are considered to be poor because 1000 रुपये तो ऐसे ही चले जाते हैं. You just ऐसे ही चले जाते. So there were protests and they said कि look into this again. A new committee was constituted. New committee was constituted under the chairmanship of erstwhile RBI Governor C. Rangarajan. See, poverty actually is, if you notice, poverty is a topic of GS2, social justice, poverty and hunger. So I am talking about the economic aspects of poverty, how is it calculated, etc. How to reduce poverty and all of that comes under social justice, है ना? Because social schemes and all are there. Rangarajan committee said, rural urban area में 32 and 47 होना चाहिए. कितना होना चाहिए? Rural में it should be 32 per day. And urban में it should be 47 per day. Now, did Rangarajan committee increase the poor in India or reduce the poor in India? The number of people. Did Rangarajan committee reduce the poor people in India or increase the poor people in India? Increase. Why? Because it has raised the poverty line. So those who are earning, earlier they used to earn 35, but now they are poor. 35, they are not poor according to Tendulkar criteria, but 35 are poor as per Rangarajan criteria. Samjha? So currently, we mostly use Rangarajan criteria. In some cases, we also use Tendulkar committee criteria. More than this, finally, government conducted a census. कि कौन कितना कमा रहा है मेरे को बताओ, so I will know कितना है. So see, if everyone is earning in the range of 500 to 1000, can I say 500 to 600 can be poor? Compare relative poverty. So similarly, we conducted a census, which is called as a SECC, Socio-Economic Caste Census. नाम में लिखा है, it is social plus economic. Now this social is not made public yet. कौन कौन से कास्ट का है ये सब not made public yet. Economic is made public yet. And do you remember in various schemes I had told you that identification of beneficiaries is done by state government? Who will be eligible for NFSA, who will be eligible for PDS, who will be eligible for AAY. So most of that eligibility, most of that identification is done as per SECC. So SECC criteria. There are various committees which have given various recommendations. I'll give you one more example. For calculating urban poverty, some people say that this is not enough. He might be already having a home, he might be earning more than this, but if he doesn't have a, he is earning more than this, but if he doesn't have a khud ka home, or if he doesn't have toilet in his home, or if he doesn't have basic clean water in his home, or sanitation in his home, he is living in such a situation ki, his health is every day endangered. He is earning more than this. Still he is poor. Yes or no? There are people who are earning 60 rupees per day, but do you think they are able to live a healthy life? They are eating vada pav every day because they are poor. They don't have toilets in their homes. They don't have proper sanitation in their home. Do you think they are rich, or do you think they are non-poor? They are not non-poor. See, as per criteria, they are non-poor, but actually they are poor, right? Always keep this in mind. These are just mathematical and economic criteria to define poor. Ultimately, there is no one definition of poor. Yes or no? The poverty is multidimensional, don't you think? So that is why we have a multidimensional poverty index. I told you this in the very earlier lectures. Ekdam pehle I told you this. Multi-dimensional poverty index. This is very nice. Because income is only one part. Chalo, you are earning 200 rupees per day. Are you poor as per Tendulkar line? No. Are you poor as per Rangarajan line? No. But you are not given access to food by social caste, upper caste members. You are poor. Ultimately, wo paise karoge kya? Multi-dimensional poverty index is given by Oxford Institute plus UNDP. You will learn this in your current affairs. Oxford plus UNDP deta hai. Just but look at the criteria they use. What is the criteria they use? The criteria they use is they use 3 dimensions: health, education and standard of living. चलो देखते हैं. Health, education and what? Standard of living. So they say कि हम ये सब भी देखेंगे apart from only money. Health में क्या है? Health में what is the criteria? Child mortality. Do you know child mortality? कि कितने लोग, how many children die before reaching the age of 2 years, 3 years वैसा. That is called child mortality. So don't you think if a state is suffering from high child mortality, there are more poor there? Yes. Irrespective whether they are earning more than the line or not. See, that line is a baseline. Then they also see nutrition. What is the nutrition criteria? Do you know Maharashtra has a lot of malnutrition? Out of total children, most of the malnourished children are in Maharashtra. ठीक है? Malnutrition. What about education? Education में क्या देखते हैं वो लोग? How many years of schooling has been done by the children? So who are poor? 2 years of schooling or 10 years of schooling? 2 years of schooling. Because they had to leave school, because they had to do jobs. Years of schooling. And more importantly, years of schooling से ज़्यादा more importantly, how many children are enrolled? Attendance, वो सब भी देखेंगे. Now comes our understanding of poverty. क्या है? Cooking fuel, basic है? Yes or no? Gas तो चाहिए cooking करने के लिए. Toilet चाहिए. What else do you need? What basic things do you need? Water to drink, clean drinking water, What, and for washing also, what else do you need? What else do you need? Floor. एक पक्का घर होना चाहिए. What else do you need? Assets, some assets, small vehicle, cycle, anything, small assets you require. Mobile phone, कुछ तो basic होना चाहिए. Assets. ठीक है? So they say कि इसमें से अगर so each dimension is equally weighted, तो इसको 1/3 1/3 1/3 ऐसा दिया हुआ है. ठीक है? दे से कि इसमें से कोई भी तीन में आप इफ यू आर पुअर देन यू आर मल्टी डायमेंशनली पुअर. समझा? सो योर होमवर्क इज टू फाइंड आउट इंडियाज रैंक लेटेस्ट. फाइंड, क्या लगता है इंडिया आगे होगा पीछे होगा? इंडियाज लेटेस्ट रैंक. व्हाट डू यू थिंक? हाउ विल वी स्कोर हियर? वी विल स्कोर वेरी पुअरली हियर. ठीक है? आई एम गोइंग इनटू सोशल जस्टिस. हाउ डू यू थिंक विल स्कोर हियर? विल स्कोर वेरी पुअरली हियर. How do you think we'll score here? We'll score we'll score better here. We'll score much better here. Cooking fuel अभी better है. Toilet after Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and all of that better है. Water poor, very poor. Electricity is better. Floor very poor. Assets very poor. 2-3 things we are doing good. Not, I would say not very good, but still compared to earlier things better. ठीक है? How to resolve poverty? I have already told you one of the way of doing it is UBI. What is UBI? Universal Basic Income. I hope you remember what is UBI. We have discussed this in DBT and all of that. UBI. So UBI as a solve for poverty is being discussed. UBI as a solve for poverty is being debated. समझा? इतना समझा? ठीक है? ब्रेक घ्यायचा आहे? अजून आहे 15 मिनिट्स आहे अजून. ठीक है ना? Right? What is syllabus point number 2? Do you remember syllabus point number 2? Inclusive growth and issues arising from it. The only way to cover this topic is your own notes. I will give you the source. Source means source is your own notes. Okay, that is the source, but I'll show you how. ठीक है? What you have to do, I'm going to tell that. You have to take maximum 4 sides. 4 sides means 2 pages. Notes के लिए maximum 4 sides. Very, very, very important part is the definition of inclusive growth. Any one definition, whichever you like, Google the definition of inclusive growth. Any one definition which you like, any one definition which you like, but it should be of a reputed institute like World Bank, IMF. किसी का तो अच्छे का होना चाहिए. That you should write. ठीक है? Now, once you write the definition, you will come to know कि inclusive growth is not only monetary growth but social growth also, political growth also, gender balance growth also. सब कुछ होना चाहिए. ठीक है? So then you come to know or you write the dimensions of inclusive growth. ठीक है? I'll show you. I'll tell you. ठीक है, राइट. सो डायमेंशंस ऑफ इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ. अभी डायमेंशंस में what all do you need for inclusive growth? Tell me, किस किस का ग्रोथ होना चाहिए? You only tell. Your economic growth should happen. Money होना चाहिए, economic, then or financial, social, technological growth, then environmental growth, political growth. As a country, you should have more freedom, more democracy. These are the dimensions of inclusive growth. Yes or no? ठीक है. Major part, what is the syllabus point? Challenges, issues. So what are the challenges of inclusive growth, do you think? See, you have to elaborate on these. I'm just giving you a head start. I'll tell you why we are not covering this in economics. There is a reason why. It is 70% social justice and 30% economics. ठीक है, because देखो ना, social, environmental, political, all subjects मिला के ये point बनता है. See, I have no problem in teaching this for 2 hours also. But I will have to take some things from environment, take some things from social justice, take some things from polity. But it doesn't make sense. So once you cover everything, then you can attempt this. This is like an essay. ये essay जैसा है, inclusive growth. है ना? This is an essay topic actually. What are the major challenges? What do you think are the major challenges? Economic growth. Economic growth में क्या challenges होगा? You only tell me. Poverty. Then unemployment, very important. Inequality, poverty, unemployment, inequality. ठीक है, these are the major challenges. Don't you agree? What are the challenges in accessibility? Food security वाला जो part था ना, वो भी you can add here. What are the challenges in accessibility? Tell me that. Accessible growth किसको नहीं मिलता है? In which kind of things? Disabled or Divyangs? Then accessibility और किसको नहीं मिलता है? Healthcare accessibility is an issue. Healthcare is too expensive. Quality infrastructure is a problem. See, don't you think this is the amalgamation of all you study in UPSC? सारे aspects आ जाएंगे, even political problems है, right? Don't you think good governance is also a challenge? Good policies, good quality government, good governance is also a challenge. So this is a very organic topic. This cannot be done कि हाँ 10 पेज में खत्म. Not possible. But at the same time, you have to prepare it in such a manner कि you keep it restricted to 4 sides or maximum 5 sides, 2.5 pages, and keep on adding and deleting points. And only write the keywords here. Good governance हो गया. Then what else is the challenge? Empowerment is a challenge. Women empowerment. Then what? Children ka education, everything. Their education is also a problem. Empowerment is a challenge. So anything that affects inclusive growth, social discrimination against scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, so that is GS1 society, वो भी इसमें आ जाएगा. Skilling, very important. Technical training, skilling, etc. All that is also very important. ठीक है? Now you will require only one thing to answer this. What are the solutions of inclusive growth? कि how to solve inclusive growth? Solution क्या है? एक ही चीज लगेगी आपको. Schemes. Major schemes. See, this is a smart way of doing this. Solution क्या है? Can we say we have financial solutions? What are the financial solutions? Subsidies, DBT, UBI. ठीक है, फाइनेंशियल सोल्यूशन हो गया, ये फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन हो गया बेसिकली. मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी ट्रांसमिशन, जनधन योजना, गोल्ड मोनेटाइजेशन स्कीम, एनीथिंग चिपका दो इधर. ठीक है. व्हाट आर द टेक्नोलॉजिकल सॉल्यूशंस हियर? Depending on what problem you are trying to address, if you are trying to address the problem of hunger, what is the solution? Fortification of rice. ठीक है. Fortification, remember, food preservation, food processing, all of that are technological interventions. ठीक है. Digital India, e-Naam for farmers growth, anything. See, that is why this is very generic. ठीक है. What about skilling? Skilling is also a solution. So skilling is actually GS2 point number 14. Human resources, health, education, human resources, वो भी आ जाएगा. Can growth happen through agriculture also? So many things are there in agriculture. Exports, agriculture exports, cold storage, etc. What are the social solutions to this? Environmental, etc. सब लिख दो आप, जितना आता है सब लिख दो इसमें. But at the same time, keep it concise. So this will happen only when you read other subjects. This will happen only when you know about schemes. Otherwise, you cannot add this. मैं scheme का नाम बोलूँगा, you have not heard of the scheme. What is the use? What are the environmental solutions to this? Green norms, National Green Tribunal, or what do we say? Pollution control schemes, जो भी है, whatever are the pollution control schemes. What about social? SC, ST, did we see prevention of discrimination? We didn't see that, but I told you Prevention of Discrimination Act. Then that Forest Rights Act, all that comes under social. Untouchability, prevention of untouchability. Use constitution articles also here. Constitution articles भी है, laws है, schemes है, सब कुछ है. ठीक है. Inclusive growth and issues arising from it is a topic which is very organic. It requires understanding of all other subjects. It is like an essay. You cannot write an essay today if it asks you about overall dimensions of India, है ना, because you have not read internal security, you have not. So inclusive growth means सबका साथ सबका विकास. That is inclusive growth. Everyone together, everyone growing. That is inclusive growth. But don't write this in paper. Unless you are from Hindi medium, don't write this. English में है. So everyone's growth, but together, that is important. So you only imagine who is not growing. Elderly people. Social में आ गए वो. What do you need? What solutions can you think for helping take care of elderly people? Proper healthcare is required for them because they are elderly. Proper shelter homes are required because children often abandon them. Ki, no, you don't live with us, etc. Live with us, etc. What do you think are the solutions for diseased patients, or diseased people who are disease ridden? They need proper healthcare. They need proper food. They need proper medicines. सब inclusive growth ही है. Technical नहीं है ये. It is very generic topic. इतना समझा? Is this understood? ठीक है. Can I say we have closed down point number 2? It is open, but it will remain open till the end. But at the same time, you have to take care not to make it bulkier. ठीक है. Next. What is point number 8? Do you recollect what is point number 8? Point number 8 is effect of liberalization on industries, changes in industrial policy and its effect on industrial growth. So have we seen liberalization and industries? We have seen that. We have seen before liberalization what was the industrial policy, very restrictive, very concentrated policy. Okay? Now we are looking at the changes in industrial policy. So let us spend a few minutes on changes in industrial policy. changes in industrial policy. Okay. So now we need to take, so abhi ka policy kya hai? Abhi ka policy is liberal. So can I say now industrial policy is moving towards privatization? Can I say disinvestment and privatization are the two pillars or two intentions of current policy? Barabar? That is okay. What about the future? That is what we need. Future mein what are the changes in industrial policy now? So we have a draft industrial policy. It has not been released yet. Matlab, it is still in the making. So that is a very good change. Future ready industrial policy bolte hai usko. So we are looking at, so you know what, that the main objective of that policy is to establish global linkage with the world, because now Indian manufacturing is nowhere. Everything is made in China. Made in India बहुत कम है. So we want to establish India as a global manufacturing hub. Make in India scheme आई थी. Do you remember Make in India scheme? That is a part of future ready industrial policy. Are you realizing this? That is a part of future ready industrial policy. So to establish global linkage is now the objective. To establish global linkages. So what we have done in the new policy is that we have divided the new policy into three parts: short-term goals, medium-term goals and long-term goals. ठीक है? So short term में हम क्या करेंगे? Short term में what do we do? What I'll do is I'll send across इसका notes also. ठीक है? So we'll just discuss the points because थोड़ा बड़ा हो जाएगा. Short term में what we are going to do is, see this. To establish global linkages, we are dividing into short term, medium term and long term. I'm directly giving you the answer for mains, है ना? ऐसे ही तो होता है, right? Short term में the immediate priority is to boost MSMEs. Who are MSMEs? Micro, small, medium enterprises, small enterprises. They constitute for majority of employment and they constitute majority of our exports. Bade industries are not majority. Short term में you have to boost MSMEs. Is this okay? Short term में you have to boost MSMEs. Medium term में you have to attract FDI. $100 billion annually. Okay, $100 billion annually. Achha, tell me one thing. Is outward FDI flow or is outward flow of money from India good or bad? Outward flow of money is good or bad? Tell me one thing. It is good also, bad also. Why bad? Because less money is left with India for development. Why good? Don't you think when Indians invest in other countries, money goes from India to outside India? Don't you think if India, let's say if tomorrow Infosys overtakes or Infosys takes over Microsoft, don't you think money will go from India to USA? Microsoft में invest होगा India का पैसा, but that will establish India on the world market, yes or no? So always remember, FDI outflow is neither good nor bad. It depends on what is happening, on why it is going. Do you know Jaguar car? Who is the owner of Jaguar car? Tata. So when Tata would have acquired Jaguar Land Rover, money flew from India to outside India, London, जो भी है. ठीक है? So outward FDI is not bad. So attract FDI 100 billion annually and support outward FDI. This is more important. Support outward FDI. This is more important. Long term में क्या करना है? Have you heard about Fortune 500? There are 500 best brands or best firms. So we want to include more Indian firms in Fortune 500. That is a long term vision. Yes or no? Yes or no? Is this true or not? We have to make a brand image of India. Yes or no? कि इंडियन गुड्स बेस्ट क्वालिटी गुड्स ऐसा करना है. दैट इज अ लॉन्ग टर्म, बिकॉज शॉर्ट टर्म में वो हो नहीं सकता. डू यू एग्री विद दिस? ठीक है. These are the major objectives of a change. We need changes in this direction. न्यू इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी का ये चेंज है. समझा? We need to focus on sunrise sectors. What do you mean by sunrise sectors? Emerging sectors. What are the emerging sectors? चलो tell me. नया नया क्या है? Renewable energy. Then e-vehicles. Then crypto. Internet of Things, artificial intelligence. Then नया क्या है? What is the new trend which is going on? Genetic engineering. Driverless vehicles. आजकल चल रहा है ना? Startups overall. Technological startups. Anything you find interesting you can write here. But we need a change in industrial policy which will help boost these sectors. Abhi it is no use in manufacturing mobiles. वो हो गया है. China has already done it. वो हो गया. Even if you do it, it is good. You do, you learn. But focus on these. These are new things. Yes or no? समझा? ठीक है. So there was a small article. उसमें से I took some notes. I'll just, ठीक है, you write it here. I'll just write it on a new page. See this. Use this in your mains directly. I'm giving you a good fodder material. That was an article in Economic Times. The new industrial policy should have 3 pillars. ठीक है? New industrial policy should be based on 3 pillars. Three pillars: competitiveness, sustainability, and inclusion. I hope this is self-explanatory. You should be competitive. Sustainable होना चाहिए ना? यहाँ पे green नहीं लिखा हमने, ऐसे कैसे? Green energy और green products, है ना? Competitiveness, sustainability, and what? Inclusion. It should be socially inclusive. The new industrial policy should be based on these 3 pillars. Reduce what? Reduce what? Rigidity in labor laws. तो ही तो आप आगे बढ़ पाओगे. Reduce what? Rigidity in labor laws. Remember, labor laws are strict, businesses are constrained. Reduce what? Rigidity in land laws. Let businesses get land whatever they want. Reduce what? Reduce what? What else do you want to reduce? कॉस्ट ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस, लॉजिस्टिक्स कॉस्ट, बहुत महंगा है लॉजिस्टिक्स इन इंडिया, वाई, खड्डा है रोड में, फ्यूल ज्यादा है, रिड्यूस लॉजिस्टिक्स कॉस्ट, then only you will be able to achieve your aim of what? To achieve an aim of global linkage. समझा? Reduce logistics cost. Reduce what? Hurdles in doing business. I'll give you homework. Read about ease of doing business. Read about currently what is the government doing? Currently what is the government doing? Currently we have a PLI scheme. What is PLI, sir? Production linked incentive. Baki we have covered in the infrastructure sector, so I am writing those words here. They also form part of your industrial policy. So you have special economic zones, SEZ. You have coastal economic zones, CEZ. You have National Investment and Manufacturing Zones, NIMZ, and you have Dedicated Freight Corridors, DFC. These also form part of your industrial policy, right? So make sure you write about them as well. And remember, this point comes before point number 9, infrastructure. So वो linked है points, and we have covered all this in infrastructure sector. Production linked incentive. क्या लगता है? What is the meaning of this? जितना produce करोगे उतना you will get incentive. Now this was made for mobile manufacturing earlier. This was made for mobile manufacturing earlier, but now what has happened? Center has extended it to 30 sectors. 30 sectors. And economists are criticizing it. Why? Why economists are criticizing it? Because again it increases the dependence of your industries on government subsidies. Yes or no? So production linked incentive के बारे में पढ़ना. But though, and I have posted this article on Telegram channel also on why PLI scheme will lead to lot of loss for the government. समझा? Did you understand this completely? ठीक है? So PLI scheme में क्या होता है? Targets are given कि you produce this much and you will get this much concession. You will get this much interest subvention. You will get this much subsidy. Are you getting this? So they are saying, economists are saying कि ठीक है, for one or two targeted sectors it is okay. Why are you subjugating the entire industrial sector to your subsidies? Let them grow on their own. Let them nurture, because tomorrow what will happen? They will earn subsidies and they will be dependent on subsidies. Tomorrow when you reduce the subsidies, remove the subsidies, what will happen? Entire industry sector will collapse. समझ आ रहा है? That is why PLI scheme is much criticized. इतना समझा? Read about PLI scheme. This we will find in current 100%. ठीक है? Again, very important. सर कब खत्म करोगे आप? Very, very, very important. Very important. So with this we finish our course. We have touched upon a lot of things. ठीक है? We have read so many things. I have given you homework also. I have given you homework sometimes which is useful, sometimes which is not useful for UPSC, but very useful for or interesting in reading, right? We were supposed to discuss some economic events also, great economic depression and economic recession. We'll do that in our Zoom sessions someday. I will schedule that, and everyone will get a message ki in this day we are going to discuss this, so you can come and we can attend. So we can have basically extension of these lectures on Zoom classes also, because now by the time you have done this, you have read everything, then discussion becomes feasible. So maybe September, October mein we can have these discussions, right? By the time prelims paper will also come, so we can discuss that prelims paper also, 2021 prelims paper, whether हमने कुछ पढ़ा उसमें से कुछ आया या something entirely different came, that is also possible. हाँ, UPSC में nobody will give you guarantee कि मैं पढ़ाऊंगा उसमें से आएगा, कुछ नहीं होता. But yes, do you understand economics better after attending these lectures? Do you understand what is being spoken about? Okay? Did this course help you in any way? Right? We have spent so many hours, close to 100 hours we have spent. I hope this course was very helpful to you. If it did help, if it helped you understand economics, if it helped you understand newspapers and why are we doing, what are we doing, if it helped you clear your concepts, then please spread the word, because there are many people who don't understand economics, who are reluctant to read economics and who lose marks. Easy questions bhi wrong karke aate, who lose marks, right? So I'm very thankful to you that you took admission and you attended my classes, you saw my classes. I hope you did not skip any class, because any class cannot be skipped. It is all interrelated to each other, right? In this sector, I will refer infrastructure. In this lecture, I will refer to tax lecture, anything. Okay? Please keep on practicing, and by, let's say, when you get this lecture, you have some basic understanding of current as well. So now I think you can start writing answers for mains, right? And you can also start practicing MCQs. We have done past year MCQs also. Many of them are there on YouTube, and some of them we have done in lectures also, right? So overall, point number 1 to 10, I think you are fairly comfortable with by now. But at the same time, do not rely on my lectures, or do not rely on only me. Only is the keyword. You have to revise. You have to revise. These are just aids for your preparation. Okay? Don't think you have paid the fees and you are getting the course ki your thing will be, you will clear. Aisa nahi. I'll be very honest with you. You have to study, you have to keep on revising. It is an exam where very few people clear. So wo pagal nahi hai na. UPSC is not mad. And those people who clear, they are also not mad. They study on their own, they revise a lot on their own. And then, but yes, help is required, especially in a subject like geography and economics and environment. These three subjects require a lot of hand-holding. I agree with that. Okay? Secondly, when you revise, even next year before mains, suppose in 2022, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. I will still help you. Okay? Till the, I told you, till the date of your interview, I will be available. Interview ke baad aap officer ban jaoge, we will forget small people like me. So that is not my mistake. Okay? Chalo, last time, we will revise point number 1 to 10 syllabus. एक बार final शुरू करते हैं. Random होगा. Point number 7, land reforms in India. ठीक है? Point number 3, government budgeting. Point number 9, infrastructure, ports, roads, airports, railways, etc. etc. में we had discussed logistics, telecom, housing, right? Point number 10, investment models. Point number 2, inclusive growth and issues arising from it. Point number 5, issues with direct and indirect farm subsidy and MSP, minimum support price. PDS, objectives, functioning, limitations, revamping. Issuing of buffer stock and food security. Technology, missions, economics of animal rearing. Point number 1, Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment. Point number 2 हो गया, inclusive growth 3 हो गया. Point number 4, major crops and cropping patterns across various parts of the country. फिर different types of irrigation and irrigation systems, storage, transport, marketing of agricultural produce and issues and related constraints, and then e-technology in the aid of farmers. This was point number 4. 5 is done. 6, food processing industry and related industries, location, significance, upstream, downstream requirements, supply chain management. 7 हो गया था. Point number 8. Point number 8 is effect of liberalization on industrial policies, effect of liberalization on industrial growth, changes in industrial policies and their effect on industrial growth. Point number 9, point number 10 are done. Always remember, always remember that your notes, your revision and your answers, okay, has to be what? Relevant. Do you remember these words? These are there in UPSC notification. Relevant, meaningful, succinct. Right? Everything has to be, not only answers, everything has to be relevant, meaningful and succinct. So I thank you everyone, and we will to keep meeting in Zoom sessions. But it was maja aaya isme. On this economic journey we took together. Remember, before the first lecture, kya halat thi? Ki economics kya hai, interest rate, banking kya hai. Now we have gone through everything, we have scoured through everything. Yet I am saying there are still many things which remain, which will come in current. Okay? So it is your duty. You read, you don't understand, I am here. Thank you so much. We shall meet in the Zoom session and not in the next lecture. Okay? Thank you.